Today, I want you to go over in more details
Hmm.
uh, for those with a different body type, because there are
Hmm.
some people with muscular type of frame, and there are
Hmm.
other ones very slim. I mean slim.
Hmm.
Like in terms of food, there's three body types, and in general, you don't have to go into so deep. For example, if someone have this, what should they eat to get that kind of body? For example, some people who have a big frame and they have to maybe perhaps concentrate more on protein, and people who might have a slender body type might be more lean into the carb, because these different types of body are different for in terms of getting the figure, right? And not everybody eats the same and get the same result. But knowing this type of body helps a lot. Maybe perhaps you can quickly go over, if someone have this, they should concentrate on this type of macro.
Got it. And you said you want to cover all three different body types?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are basically three general body types, right? And maybe in between, so people know what they eat, right? Majority of people think, oh, maybe more protein, but if you have a certain body type, they have to probably might need to eat more carb than protein, right?
Right. Right. Okay, cool. So the three that you're talking about is basically the naturally skinny, the naturally large, and then the naturally V tapered, wide shoulders, sometimes a bigger chest with a smaller waist body type. So
Mm.
the skinny ones, like my book, that's the ectomorph, right? Super, actually, that probably looks better. The ectomorph, right? And then we've got the endomorph. So they're just bigger, but they usually call themselves bigger boned, right?
Mm.
And then we've got the mesomorph, which is more like the holy crap, did you go to the gym? No, I did 10 push-ups. That's it? That kind. So they naturally look athletic all the time, even when they gain weight. The easiest way to remember is if you're the skinny type and you're trying to get the Helen Fong look. So we're not talking about getting bodybuilder size. We're not trying to talk about running marathons. We're specifically talking about looking younger, feeling more fit. So that's usually lower body fat, higher muscle, right?
Mm.
For them, for people like you, Helen, um, high protein and high carbohydrates, depending on your days.
Mm.
So you can actually get away with having a little bit more carbs than your counter opposite, which is the endomorph,
Mm.
right? So endo, right? Ecto, endo. For you, the hardest part for you guys is trying to sustain your muscle. So you have to support the muscle growth with constant eating. That's usually about every 4 hours, give or take. Not mandatory, just you want to avoid the feeling of being hungry. So high protein, high carbs. And this is all generalization, of course, to keep this video short. And so that's ecto, endomorph, big boned. They want way low carbs. They want medium protein. They usually want to have higher fats. And I haven't talked about this before, but you bringing this up actually brings a really good point. That a lot of times they're carbohydrate sensitive. So they're, like me. I smell the chocolate bar and I have the chocolate bar on my ass. No fun, right? It's just horrible. Like with you, you can smell it, you can lick it, you can take a couple of bites of it, and you're good. You might gain a little bit, but not a whole lot. If I dab my finger on it, it's like I have to go and have a 2 week diet cut because I just absorb really fast. So
Mm.
for them, they got to have, like for us, for me, I got to have a lower carb count, a little bit higher protein, much higher in the good fats. And the reason why good fats are so important, not the bad saturated fats, is because good fats bind with the bad fats to help us excrete or release that stuck fat that's in our body. That's super important. Not to mention that because we're not having enough carbohydrates, having enough fat, good fat, keeps the energy levels high. And you and I both know it's hard to live life if you feel sluggish, slow, and borderline retarded because you're so tired all the time. Nobody likes that feeling. It's one of the big reasons why a lot of people don't like to diet, because they cut out so many things in their meals.
Mm.
It's just really hard to live. So
Painful, right? It's painful when you take
right.
things away from people.
Yeah, big time. So we
Yeah.
don't want to take it away. We just want to replace, right?
Mm. Yes, yeah.
And then we've got the Superman, Supergirl looking type, broad shoulders, small waist, all 24, 365. They could slug out in front of the TV, Netflix, and popcorn, candy, chips, chocolate all week. And when they gain 20 pounds, you can't tell
Mm.
because they generally even out the body weight gain, the fat gain throughout
Mm.
their whole body.
Mm.
Those types generally can just get away with almost any kind, in my opinion, almost any kind of balance, like protein to fat to carbohydrates diet plan or meal plan, because as long as they're active, their metabolisms work the best. It's always burning, it's always building muscle, it's always releasing fat.
Mm.
They're I've got a handful of friends and some clients that are like that, and I get jealous as hell, not gonna lie. After
Mm.
watching them train for 1 month, they get
Mhm.
results in 1 to 2 months that some people take 6 to 12 months to get. No exaggeration. They have
Mhm.
an amazing metabolism. So in a
Mm.
nutshell, that's all you have to remember. That if you're watching this video right now, for those of you watching, and you're like, okay, what can I get out of this video? In
Mm.
closing, number one, figure out which body type you are. And all you got to do is just look in the mirror. Do you look like this? Do you look like this? Or do you look like you should have a big S on your chest with a red cape in the back because you have broad shoulders and a small waist? Simple.
Mm.
Once you
Mhm.
figure that out, then all you got to remember is if you're like Helen and naturally thin, you have to constantly feed every 3 to 4 hours, right?
Mm.
Sometimes two. I mean, you're a 2 hour girl. Sometimes in 2 hours you already need to eat again. So listen to your body, right, folks? That's really the name of the game. If
Mm.
you are like me, where if I don't do anything, I'm more like this, right?
Mhm.
Then you got to drop the carbs, increase the fat, and keep a certain level of protein, which is usually about 50% of your body weight, give or take.
Mhm.
Then if you're the Superman, Supergirl type, well, you just have to have a decent, usually 50 to 75% of your protein and fat levels, and your carbohydrates can all be across the board about the same. And again, this is a generalization, but as long as you're active, then all you're going to do is look more Superman or Supergirlish, because you already have the broad shoulders and you already have a small waist and your metabolism already burns fat like you are 15 years old, even if you're 50.
Thank you so much, Alan.